What I'd like to do before we get started is I'd really just like to have everybody take a moment to sort of arrive and to just settle in. I'm going to ask you to maybe take a few deep breaths, kind of let whatever wants to come through your body come through. You close your eyes. And I'm just going to ask you, as you arrive, as you settle in, as you kind of feel the sensations in your body, that you just kind of let your mind kind of move over to a word that might describe how you're feeling right now. No reason to like think too much, just whatever wants to come in, whatever wants to come to the surface, just let it come in. So just take a breath or two. Feel into your body. And just take away that one word. Could be a phrase, could be 2 words, just something that really lands for where you are right now. Now, what I'd like us to do is we're going to just go around the circle, and I'm going to ask each of you to state your name into the circle and just share what came up for you, whether it was a word, 2 words, a phrase, whatever it was. And we do that because we believe that it's really important and powerful and empowering to put your voice out into the circle. And when we sit in circle, we treat this as a sacred container, a place where we can feel safe and supported and loved and held. And we want everybody to know that their voice matters. You know, we're all equal distance from the center. We're all connected. We're all one source. And so it's a good way to just kind of break the ice, let everyone know that we're here. And then we'll get to know some names because there's a lot of new faces for us here as well. So I'll start. I'm Marietta, as Lisa mentioned, and the word that came up for me was spaciousness today. So that's a word I haven't really sat in for a while. I'm happy that I'm making some space for some new things, but that's just what popped in for me. And I'd like you also to hold on to that word as we go into the latter portion of our circle, and we pick a card and we go a little deeper. We want to relate it back to that word as well. So that word probably has a double meaning for us. So I'm going to pass it this way. You can share your name and then what word came up for you.
Kathy McGill. The word, 2 words, loving me.
Nice. Terry McDowell and awareness.
Tony Taylor and purpose. Michael Kuhn, and I missed what I'm supposed to say. So if you would enlighten me, please.
It's one word that pops in for how you're feeling right now. Just
Light and blessings.
Thank you.
That's 2 words.
Okay.
Trisha Schachter. Joyous and jittery. Or jittery and joyous. Trigger joyous.
Will Erdl and grounding.
Really Nichols, hungry.
Hungry.
That's what her. Robin Smith and exhilarated and alive.
Dennis Lutz, vitality.
Susanna Calvert, hopeful.
Liz Pope, calmness.
Kathy Graham, becoming.
Connor Campbell, content.
Lisa Marks, and honestly, what the first word that popped into my head was tired.
Jonathan Fraser, personalness, which is persistent silence.
And Megan Cummings, and I had tired.
What did you say?
Peaceful.
Oh, peacefulness. Okay. Well, thank you. That's great. Oh yes, I'm sorry, Carol, go ahead. What did you?
Karuna, which is Sanskrit for compassion.
That's pretty. Yeah, thank you. So I'm gonna start off by just giving a little bit of background about Beyond. I know Lisa had mentioned kind of who we are. We're a very similar community that came together as a group of souls that were just looking for a place to collaborate. And what we really landed on was that we all were looking for a very similar thing. And out of that, we just started evolving and awakening and creating these circles that have been growing in size and in purpose over the last, what did you say?
How many years?
Yeah, a couple of years now, right? And so one of the things that has been very fascinating for us is that we knew we were individuals looking for open-minded people that we can kind of do things with and get excited together and explore. And what we learned is that as we go deeper and deeper and we explore and we really get in touch with what our soul is here to do, we're starting to see how everyone that's come into our circle has sort of been identified for a specific goal. And so we're now looking at these deeper connections happening in our circles, and they're turning into these amazing healing opportunities. So we believe that sitting in circle has its kind of own energy, that when we sit in circle, it is a way that we can feel safe and held and supported. And we discovered that most of the things that we were bringing to life just had this different energy when we were in circle together. There was a compassionate, a kindness, an energy with an open heart that just, the vibration just felt higher and higher. The more people we got together in circle, the more we could feel the vibration of the entire room being lifted. And it became one of those moments where we just said, we all want more of this. And so we just started putting out these groups. And what Lisa had mentioned, where Lisa had come and hosted one of our, what we call an Unleashed Wisdom Circle. And we bring in a speaker and the speaker tells their story. And what we've learned is that when somebody is sharing their story and they're doing what they're meant to be doing, their energy is infectious. You can't help it. If you're sharing about what your passion is, what your gift is, what your love, the energy in the room is just incredible. And what we've discovered is that it gives someone who may not have the ability to kind of, or the courage to try something new, when they hear the energy from that person, it helps them step out of their comfort zone and go, I'm going to try that. I would love to try that. And we watch more and more people get exposed to more and more things, and they're out there trying to explore them. So these Unleashed Wisdom Circles are a beautiful way to share the story. We are always looking for people to share their story, to come in, to share with us what you've done, what your healing modality may be, what you're doing in this world. It doesn't have to be a healing modality. We bring practitioners of all kinds into the mix. And we've got those practitioners on our website if you want to go and look at who's come and spoken before. And we're always looking for more people. So if anybody here is interested in that, please reach out to either one of us after. We'd love to kind of connect. And we don't have anybody on the calendar. We took a little break November, December, but January we'll be back putting people on the calendar for the new year. So that's one of our circles. Another one of our circles, which I'd say was the first type of circle we started with, is an intuitive meditation circle. And that's really kind of what we're going to explore today a little bit. I'd say that's been the way that we've all kind of had the space to go a little deeper into yourself, go within, and realize that everything we need to know is contained within, and that just making the space for listening and hearing what wants to come through. We found that we can kind of bring to the surface things that might feel a little challenging, or maybe we're awakening, evolving, or growing, and we could use some extra support. When we sit in a circle and we share with that, we find that it's just a little bit easier, right? And we have closed circles and we have open circles. So closed circles are groups that kind of stay together for an extended period of time. And over the course of time, you start to get closer and closer with these people. It becomes easier to share. And I know for myself, I've gone through many hurdles, whether they're mental, physical, emotional, spiritual challenges, whatever they may be. I know that having that circle and those people there has made all the difference in the world, right? It's given me that place and that space to just be a little bit more myself, and everything's just okay. It allows me to just kind of sit with who I am, and it feels okay. So in those intuitive or those guided intuitive circles, we do a meditation, which Megan's going to lead us through. We pick a topic for the week. So there's something that we are working on. Today, we're going to be looking at, we're going to explore a little bit more about going deeper about how you can sort of embrace and allow and accept and hold on to maybe what your ego is there. We're going to ask you maybe to dive a little bit deeper into maybe some of those areas where you've been maybe not taking full responsibility and just letting the ego take the lead a little bit, and maybe how we can kind of bring the ego into our fold and sort of accept and embrace that. So what we've discovered is we will do that meditation, we'll sit, and then we're going to pose a question. When we ask the question, you can use an oracle card that's up there. You can grab the oracle card and you can then see how that oracle card applies to the question we asked. And then you can journal a little bit. It's up to everyone. If you want to take out a pen and a piece of paper and write a little bit, we can do that. And then we would typically go around and share. There's a lot of us here today, so I don't know that we're going to be able to go around and have everybody do a full share in a circle, which are again why those closed circles are a little bit more easy to maneuver in, because you get the opportunity to really go deeper and share a little bit more. So anything else about the intuitive healing circle you think you'd like to add?
No, you did a good job.
So what we'll start with that. We also have a drum circle if anybody's interested. I know that Dan is obviously a sound person. Just curious if anybody has been interested in looking for a drum circle. We started one down at Rockwood.
Rockwood Park.
Yeah, Rockwood Park. Yeah, it's been really fun. And then, yeah, as the weather's gotten a little chillier, it has been a little bit less consistent, but one of our, again, another Beyond member, and this was where we get very excited. When this woman came into one of our circles, she said, I don't know why I'm here. And we were like, we know why you're here. You're going to start a drum circle. That was 2 years ago.
It's for 2 years, and I was like,
well, she is in her glory right now.
Yeah.
It's like she wants to do it every day. And we just keep laughing because she didn't even know consciously that that's part of what she really wanted to do. She may have knew, and there may have been some resistance, but we start to see in everybody what your soul's here to do. And when we connect with each other and you start to have the confidence and the ability and the grace to step into that, we then start to see how it trickles out to everybody, right?
yeah, it ignites its fire.
Yeah,
right?
it was
wonderful.
super, super fun when she just had no idea from the very first meeting. And we're like, we know exactly what you're gonna do. I even went and bought a djembe, and now I have my own drum, and I never thought I would be sitting there drumming, in a drum circle.
And I use the pail. I love the
Like
pail.
nail with the sticks, right?
Yeah.
But it's been really fun, and I can say I spent a number of years like visiting Asheville, and there was always a drum circle on a Friday night, and my son was there for the summer, and he'd send me home videos, and I'd be like, that seems really fun. And now we go and we're excited. So it's been very fun. So that's another type of circle, and we're open to any type of circles that we think we can bring out. We do some one-on-one stuff with some healing that is around your sacred wound and about looking at your belief systems and your body, how your physical body and how your mental body sort of manifests. And we're in the throes of pulling everybody in our group that has a different human design or a different things that are their gifts that they bring to the table. And we're watching a bigger company be formed with each person having a specific role. And it's just been fascinating. And every time we meet a new person, we feel like, oh, that's another person that's just coming in, and look what their gift is. It just kind of adds value and fits in. And it keeps us all from that feeling of being separate, and it pulls us all into that oneness, how we're all here together, we're all connected. It just feels really good. It feels very supportive. It feels very, very loving, very compassionate. And so I guess what we'll do for today is just get started with the meditation for Megan, and we'll see where that lands. And then we'll pick the card, we'll journal, or you can sit with it, whatever feels good. And then we'll go around and we'll try to do some shares, but we won't be able to get to everyone, but we'll do as many as we can do just to get that energy out into the circle. The thing to keep in mind too is that every single one of us is here because this is exactly where we're supposed to be. And it's no surprise to me when you pick a card and I go, oh, that's exactly what I needed to hear, right? So when we're picking cards and we're sharing, we're really sharing for all of us here today because we are all contained in this circle. And that you might also not notice right away. Someone may pick a card and you might be, oh, that doesn't relate to me at all. I don't really connect with that. And then tomorrow morning, you might wake up and that exact card may be like something maybe staring you right in the face. So I would say, keep in mind over the next 24 to 48 hours, what you hear in the circle, because there's a good chance that it might filter out somewhere else into your life in another way that maybe you just haven't been ready to receive yet. Right?
And that's the same thing with the meditation. Like some people, don't worry if you drift off, you don't even hear what I'm saying. Your subconscious is hearing everything I'm saying, right? So it's recording it all. So I just always say, like, I'm like a seed planter. So I'm just planting something in your subconscious. And so again, something tomorrow could happen. And you're like, there's like a synchronicity. What is this? Or there could be nothing, right? And that's okay too. It doesn't really matter. We're all on this journey. We're all gonna figure it out in our own way. It's just something that I love to do meditations, to kind of bring you on like this visual of a journey. So, all right, are you ready?
Yeah.
So everybody, if you could just put both feet on the ground.
Everybody's phones off.
Yep, everybody's phones are off. And just shake it out, like shake it out, letting anything go. Right? Move. And then before you close your eyes, I'm just gonna ask you to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose, and then out through the mouth. And if you have not closed your eyes, I'm going to ask you to do that now. And now, just pay attention to your breath. And now we're just going to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Feeling your breath coming in and going out. And just becoming aware of how powerful your breath truly is. It helps calm you, helps calm the nervous system and the mind. And it gives us life. Just practicing this deep breathing is so beneficial for your whole being. Breathing in and breathing out. And now feeling your feet connecting to the earth, supporting you, grounding you. And now be aware of your whole body being supported by Mother Earth. And your body is your vehicle in your life. I want you to think about who's driving that vehicle. For a lot of us, it's our wounded ego, trying to protect us. The part of you that is trying to keep you safe. In truth, is it? It is driving you from your wounded beliefs and wounded behaviors. Maybe afraid to step on that gas. Or maybe making turns that you really didn't need to make. Because at some level, we are all afraid. See your ego sitting in the driver's seat. with its hands tightly holding onto the steering wheel. But seeing and having compassion for it. Now I'm going to ask you, your soul part of you, to make your ego feel comfortable. I want you to embrace it and ask it to be part of the whole. Have your soul know that it's time to change spots. And as you gently and lovingly move your ego into the back seat, you are not getting rid of it. You can't. We're just going to do this differently. Now, using your imagination, maybe you need to make it feel comfortable by putting its seatbelt on, turning on the heat in the car. Whatever that you need to do. You change positions here. Now your soul is getting into the driver's seat. And your soul knows exactly where you need to go. It doesn't even have to put its hands on the steering wheel. Your soul is powerful. And it's all up to you to allow it to take charge. And as you adjust the rear view mirror, I want you to see your ego sitting there. Give it a smile. You're affirming that you got this. And that you two can do it together. Just in a different way. You are creating a new relationship within yourself based on love, trust, and compassion. This is you taking responsibility for the whole. The whole you, not the separate or wounded you. And when, not if, you do this, what a ride you will be on. Few more deep breaths. And see your soul and ego breathing in unison. And when you're ready, I want you to open your eyes.
Thank you for that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to focus on a question. The question is, Is there a place that you can go a little deeper, explore just a little bit more? A place where you may not be taking full responsibility for something. I want you to just let that sit. Excuse me. For a second. So where is there a place that you could take more responsibility for something? And then I'd like you to kind of each go up and pick a card. And then you can journal on the card, you can journal on the question, you can just sit with it, whatever feels comfortable for you. We find that oracle cards are a good way to get a divine message. It's just a tool that we use to kind of enhance journaling. And then we'll give you a few minutes to kind of ponder on that.
Could you repeat the question? please?
Sure. So is there a place where you could go a little deeper? You can explore a little bit more. A place where you may not be taking full responsibility for something. Could be a conscious place, could be a little bit unconscious, something you're doing, not doing. And so I'm so sorry. What a place, what a time to get.
No worries, no problem.
And on film too.
And sometimes the cards kind of just help you finding those little tendrils that maybe that we're kind of unaware of. That we're still doing this. We've all been doing the work. Every single person on the planet actually is doing the work. Just because they're not in a spiritual group or whatever. I mean, we are all doing this together. And everybody's playing their part. And so working on getting out of victim consciousness, right? Where are we still blaming?
Yeah, and since most things come back around in patterns, you could have done the work, have gone through something, and you could be in a different place today when the pattern comes back again. But there still could be some message within what's going on for you. Yeah, I got it. Charity parents. Yeah. Yes, 100%. I got it when we were in our eyes were closed, right before my comment.
You were fine.
You gotta be left. Oh my God, how perfect was that?
How are you?
Right.
I'm also glad that it was great.
Yeah, actually, I have.
I just want to share cards and
Oh, I mean, I married.
Whatever that.
Yeah. What it really brings up is what.
Everyone up front.
Okay, come back.
Yeah, come back into the circle, people. What I wanted to ask, is there anybody here who's never used Oracle cards or is uncomfortable with Oracle cards or doesn't know? Okay. The other thing is, usually an Oracle card deck has a book that goes along with it. And so I like to, if you haven't used the cards before, I like you to get your own thought first from looking at the card, the imagery, the words on the card. Sometimes there's a number on the card. But if you'd like, you can take your phone and snap a picture of the page of your card, and that might trigger you also to something else as a way to remember. Again, like we said, you may not get the message right away, but I'll give you like just a quick example. My card is mending, and I know this card well, and I've been working a lot on forgiveness, and this card is all about forgiveness. And so I know for me, when I say, where am I not taking full responsibility? I say, oh, I've forgiven everybody. Oh, I'm not holding on to anything. I know there's a lot more to this than my subconscious is letting come to the surface. And so some of it is forgiving myself, which is a big one for me. I don't tend to forgive myself easily, but also I think there are places where I was sort of raised with this, you know, you don't really let them see all those places where it's not shiny and pretty. And I think if I have to do the forgiveness work, then I have to admit that there was work there to be done already. And so I tend to sweep a little bit of that under the rug. And so one of the things that we do with Beyond is we do a lot through human design. And I know you had our really good friend, Michelle, come and speak at one of your groups, and she's fabulous. And we've opened up to human design, which has a connection to the gene keys. And we've done a lot of work looking at some of those really specific things to us. What's your strategy? What's your authority? Well, I learned that I'm what's called an emotional manifesting generator. So I'm someone who believes, oh, good job. Someone who believes that you live life through your emotions, right? Now, I also know that I've probably stuffed every emotion I've ever had for 57 years. So in the last probably 3 or 4 years, I've been clearing all those emotions that have been stuffed for the majority of my life, because I just pushed them all away. I didn't want to acknowledge them. So human design is giving me this beautiful tool to say, the way I really lean into something now is by putting my hand on my heart, sort of closing my eyes and feeling what it feels like in my body. And I don't think I was capable of doing that before I saw how all these tools fit together. And that has been the hugest gift. So when I say mending is a big one for me, I can now put my hand on my heart and say, where are there more places that I need to mend, that I need to forgive myself, my family, my friends, my whatever, whoever else has been in my life. So this is a big one for me. So is there anyone who would like to share a little bit about what came up from their card? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, because this is like so clear to me. So I got the orphan card, and in my looking at archetypes, I have known I'm the orphan child and have aspects of that. And in life, at this point in my life, I'm without a mother and a father, so I am orphaned. But what this really speaks to me about is inner child. And the reminder that even though I do inner child work with other people, I need to be doing it with myself and for myself. Because there are things that are coming up that have been really difficult to, piece together and in our world situation. And so just being aware of where the child is with all of this and the fear and all of that. And also it's the number 5, and 5 is my number. 5 is the number of change. My birth date is 5/15. So the 5 speaks to me.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing this.
Talk to me later because I have an exercise with inner child stuff that I do with clients that I think would be helpful, very helpful.
Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dan, would you like to share?
Yeah, I got Treasure Island,
Oh, yeah.
and I just looked it up, and it says, law of attraction, bringing dreams into fruition, results of positive thinking made manifest, abundance appearing as if from nowhere, financial gains and a sharing of good fortune.
I love that.
I like that too.
Yeah. So now how does
Yeah,
that
let's say,
relate?
so
How does
how
that
that relates to the
relate
question,
where
then?
you may not be taking full responsibility for something?
I think I just need to promote things more. I need to, I don't promote myself that much for the things that I have to share. So,
Makes a
I
lot of
think
sense.
that's it.
Connected to abundance, prosperity, to all of those
Yeah,
pieces.
I'm trying to do a little more of that these days.
Perfect. Thank you, Dan.
I actually had a session earlier this week where the conversation was about, I think to very intentionally allow more play, more joy, not keep avoiding it for different reasons. So that was my intention today, exchanging gifts.
Ballerina on there, right? Yeah. Funny how that happens,
Uh-huh.
right? Yeah. Like I always say, you can't make this stuff up. You can't unlearn something you've learned. And I'm always floored that when we all sit together, almost all of us can have a piece of each other's card that's going on, right?
Do you mind not, you don't have to share, but just show me what you showed me about your card, what you have in your pocket.
It's number 11 by the book, the string of elephants. And
Yeah.
And today's the 11th. Today's 11/11.
Today's 11.
It is 11/11. Yeah.
And I actually was drawn to a card, and as I stood in front of it, this one, the left corner, I picked it up. But this card,
Jumped out.
well, it just
Right.
like fell right to the hand, so it was underneath everything to where it's sticking out. So I was gonna ask, I don't know what, I mean, I know what I'm asking your interpretation.
Well, this is what I don't like to, I would ask, so if you wanted to show me, I don't know your name, I'm sorry. Yeah. Kathy. So Kathy showed me your card, she wanted my interpretation and what we really feel strongly about, because I've been to intuitive circles where we read each other, and I'm gonna tell you, it confuses me. Because I really have the answers, right? This is our like, it's within you, and somebody's gonna see, we're all multifaceted, right? So I do a lot of work about our wounded beliefs, right, and our wounded behaviors. And so you're gonna see in me, right, through that lens of what you haven't kind of really worked on yet. So I don't like to do that. Because it can be very confusing, right? And then you can take that person's word and be like, this is what they said about me. And you can manifest that into your life.
And it's disempowering on some levels because you're giving your power away to somebody else to connect with what's going on inside of you, right? So we want you to be empowered. We want you to go within. We want you, even reading the page, if you read it yourself, you're going to land on a different sentence than I'm going to land on if I read it out to you. Because even if I read it out now to the group, I'm going to use inflection in a part that resonates with me differently than a part that might resonate with you. So it is about stepping into your own power, right? Taking that ego, putting it on your lap or putting it in a seat safely next to you and taking the driver's seat, right? Really stepping into, you can be fully responsible for everything in your life. And it could be as simple as, I'm not really sure, but I think it might be this. And you can land on that for a little while. And guess what? You always get to change your mind, right? So a week from now, you may be like, I thought it meant that, but now I've gotten some new signs today, and I think it might mean this. And so I pick cards every day. Every day I start the day with a card. I journal on the card. I get to know the card. I go back and look. There are some times that I shuffle and shuffle and shuffle and shuffle and pick the same card 3 days in a row. It is not a mistake. I
Right.
throw them all over my bedroom. I get like annoyed, like, that's not gonna happen again. Throw them all over, scoop them back up, and I turn over the same card. It's like, oh, I still haven't gotten the message. So it really is about what you see, what your lens is, what your perspective is. Like how Lisa had said, she went right to the number, how you went to the image of the elephant. Each one of us is gonna find something different. You might look at the sky, you might look at the words, something is gonna land for you, and it's all your own interpretation, right?
Right, yeah, and sometimes when the card, like I was gonna say, like Dan got Treasure Island, like mine's regeneration, right? And I was like, all right, regeneration. But I realized when I was doing the meditation, I write everything out. It's just the way I work. I journal before I get here, and then my pages were all messed up, and I felt like a victim, right? I was like, oh my God. But again, it's helping me lead to, again, you have to kind of keep moving forward, right? Like, and I have to trust myself, but there are still so many parts of myself that I don't trust, right? And I feel like I felt victimized for that second. And I was like, oh God, I just stopped. I stopped looking at them.
Probably just because her partner is over here having a coffee. Got herself frazzled. But those are all the pieces that make up us, right? Like
Right.
we fully embrace all of us, who we are, if we're accepting and loving and compassionate, and we lead with an open heart, we can see the message very differently. If you're in victim mode, you can just kind of fall a little deeper in that victim consciousness. And this world mass consciousness is coming off of a lot of victimization, right? So there's a lot of it out there.
And there's really good keys, right? Like, where are you still the blaming, right? Or that, those in my head are really kind of good. What am I still doing, right? Like, I'm even blaming myself. And I don't know who said this, but it just sticks in my mind all the time. Life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. And every time I'm triggered, right, I say that to myself. Okay, what am I kind of, right? Like, what am I doing here that I need to look at, that it wants me? Like, we are all unconditional love. We really are. And the universe is not bad or good, right? It's just trying to like help us here. And victim, and victim, that's so easy for me to how to figure out, like, where am I still? It's like, what am I still blaming? Bring it back to yourself, right? Like, I used to always complain about my husband. I'm like, no, right? He's not making me feel that way. Like, nobody is making you feel a certain way. They're triggering something within you, right?
They're the mirror.
Yes, and so it's like the more that you can really see that is how we really can start to take full responsibility and change.
And that full responsibility, you'll know that place where everything just becomes a gift, right? When all of a sudden, no matter, you're not labeling as good or bad. And that's one of mine. I will own that. I go through this world with labels and judgments that I was raised with. But when I step back, and no matter how challenging a situation appears, and I look for the gift in it, I'm a very different person. When I go full force into that challenge and I feel like it's taking me down, it's hard to raise my vibration and feel myself. But when I see that everything truly is a gift and everything really is perfect and working out exactly as it's meant to, it takes some of the pressure off. And then two, it really helps me just become the observer, right? Really just stand back and witness and see, as opposed to, like you said, blaming or naming or judging or going into whatever. Makes sense. Anyone else have something they'd like to share? Oh, Carol, great. What did you get?
During the meditation, I sort of did an open-eyed meditation. And it's a lotus blossom, but a figure sits in the middle of the lotus blossom.
Okay.
This is Kuan Yin, who is the goddess of compassion.
What'd you get?
Yeah, exact same thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you wish.
It's the exact same thing. But she won't go, we just go read it, so.
That's beautiful.
Breathe.
Can you believe it? And it says breathe, and it's the number 29, which breaks down to 11. And so and breathe to me is what I do to get centered. I've had a very busy 2 weeks and giving a lot of energy to other people. And so it was a message to come back into my center, to breathe, to be still and know.
I have to say, Carol, I say that a lot, come back to center, and that's because of you, and I think of that often, so.
Oh, thank
For
you.
sharing that, that's a big one.
I'll share.
Well, great.
Truth be told, I do not know what the book says, but I totally understand this because, the last several months I've been in, therapy. And, it's so silly. But some things I have not come clean about because I don't want to upset my therapist. I know she's a little bit soft. I'm like, maybe we should throw some subtitles out there. What would be okay with you today? She's just really sweet, and I'm like, I'd hate to break her face, by just telling her what my childhood was like. But I have to come clean about that. So, truth be told, I have not been honest with about a lot of stuff that I need to get honest with because I'm not gonna get better. I mean, I'm getting better. I mean, other tools, but yeah, that was I was led right to it too. I do not know what 14. Oh, I do know what 14 means. All right, never mind. No, I'm not going into it because I don't want to upset him. But I was 14 years old, so that's weird. Just occurred to me. Oh, I'm so good at that. What kind of witchcraft is this? I mean, with the elephant in his pocket, and then we got that over there. Who else shared? It was like, really? Hey, Tom.
Hey, Rob.
You do, yes, right on. But yeah, I mean, yeah, feel free to share because I did. And
I got a thinker. And sometimes, like, I do real estate and I just left a home inspection, but I'm working with these other clients that I have been working with for the past week. And I, excuse me, got them approved. And it was just like, why won't they listen to me? And I keep overthinking it. I went home, told my wife last night, she was like, honey, we have a house. It's not your house. You have to step away. Cause I and I looked it up and it says you overanalyze things too much. So I need to work on not projecting on others. Cause I think I'm doing it in a positive way, but it may be a little overbearing. So I have to take that into account and just kind of meet people where they are. And then if they want my advice, they can ask.
Because look who's it's affecting you, right?
Yes.
It's driving you crazy.
Yeah, I was up last night. I went to bed and I literally woke up because they didn't get the house that I wanted them to get. So yeah, I'm gonna just have to work on myself when it comes to stepping back and just letting them take the reins.
That's good gift in it.
Right, and letting everybody else take full responsibility. I learned that very recently with my children, right?
Yeah.
Like I do, well, like I was saying, I work on to the gene keys of your wounded beliefs, and I know my kids' beliefs. Their wounds and thinking it's my fault. I'm like, no, it's not my fault. Like this is what they chose to do. And the more that I can really accept that, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with what they're going through because I truly believe this is what they're so wanted to experience, right? We're all having these different experiences. No person on this planet is having the same experience, right? We know this. And being okay with that. Right? It's just we're all learning something different.
Yeah, and it does present in a lot of different ways.
Well, I always say, if Source wants to have every experience possible, right? And that's okay. And getting out of judging people for it, it's okay.
just wanted to say, again, I have not, gone around and studying the signs, the oracle card, and that sort of thing. My journey has been a little different. But I've done a lot of the clearing work and that sort of thing. But it's interesting because, for me, and when I looked at this, I had to put my other glasses on to see what was inside the bottle. But anyway, I've always had the gift of seeing and interpreting and prophecy and that sort of thing. But, I grew up in a very religious background. So, revealing these kinds of gifts and things are not always okay. And oh, she's crazy and that sort of thing. So, and then you become a mother and you get distracted and you have all these other things going on in your life that you're like, and people or not affirming what you have inside you to give. And so it's been hard. And I feel like I'm finally at a place that I'm like, I'm done. This is going to be me and for me. And I'm really gonna try to let these gifts flourish because I know they're there. I've used them before, and I have messages to give people. I did some work with intuitive readings and and that sort of thing. Lots of really like, wow, you ought to do this, but it's that getting over that hump, as you're saying, when you're in a group like this, it's a whole lot easier to say, ooh, they know me, they know what, they've been in my experience to some extent. So, I'm just sorry it's taken me this long, all these things in life, and but again, every part of the journey is worthwhile.
Yeah, and we're not running the time. That's the thing. So many of us think we have only we're running, we're not.
When your hair turns this white, then you no, I'm just teasing.
Well, it's your next one. Like you're not just by saying, right? Like having somebody.
So anyway,
So what's your card?
my card is message in a bottle.
Oh,
And
that.
yeah, and I quickly read online because that wasn't my first thought. Gee, get out your phone and look at it and figure out what this means. My generation. But anyway, it's very interesting that I want to do some more looking at this, but I have all these messages to give people and share that are coming through me.
Well, then what's great,
And
like we were talking about,
bottled
human,
up.
we were bottled up, yeah.
You said it.
Well, even, like, I don't know if you were here for human design when it was presented here, but learning that is a really good tool because, like, I know for me, like, the invitation has to be offered. And so I get messages and I wanted to give people messages. And when I was giving them, it kind of backfired. And it was like, no, I had to learn, do not give anybody messages unless it's in the invitation, right?
Right. Well, and like I said,
well, I'm a pure generator, but the way I work, it's like I wave, I guess. So, but they all have like their own little ways and learning that. And again, this might not resonate for you, but for us, it's been very helpful, our design of how to work through life. And it's just a practice, right? So it's like you just gotta experiment.
Is that the one where she's a physical therapist?
Yes.
Yes, I printed mine off. I just haven't studied on it too.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I'm feeling need to share that. Gosh, I wish as a group and folks who are doing this and working in this way, it was more out there. Because it's so hard to find your people.
I feel like it's changing.
It is.
I feel like it's easier today than it was 15 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's happening. And I think some of it is just the energy you put out there, right?
Yeah.
You put out there, if you're a little hesitant and you don't know if the people are going to be there, then you might not find everyone. But if you're open and you're you, I just think those people will find me
Right,
wow.
and your word right there, right? I believe it's hard, right? Seeing that in your subconscious,
Yes,
right?
yes, I'm doing it to myself.
Right, like, and so these things, right, that we do to ourselves over and over.
And
right?
that's what, as a group, we get to support each other through, right? We get, sometimes you can't, and I'll talk to Megan every day, and we are, and I kid you not, we are yin and yang. If she goes one way, I go the other, she goes up, I go down, like, we are twin
It's
flames.
ridiculous,
That
actually.
it's unbelievable. She'll call me, I'm having a great day, and I'll be like, oh. I mean, like, it's so amazing, but I have a person that I could say things that I don't say to my husband, or I don't even say to my kids, not all the time, but there are certain times where I'll spit something out and I'll be like, I sort of held on to that for so many years. I don't even know where it got lost in me, or even if it's still there, but clearly it's resurfacing, right? So, and so having the people to do that with, I think just really gives you a different, I don't know, just a different way to go through life, right?
Yeah,
It gives you
it's
that
very
outlet.
freeing.
Yeah.
Of having that support system, right? And we are conditioned in certain ways, right? Like about that, like my husband should be doing, no, that's what I just was conditioned to believe. He's there for maybe other reasons, right? Maybe I almost think that she is like, we're like a couple lately, like.
I'm sure
And
there
that
was another
we're
life
here
involved.
to share, right? Like we're here to do this together, and he's there for a different reason.
And when I try to go to my husband and share that, sometimes it's received well, sometimes he's open, but there are definitely times where I start sharing and I'm thinking to myself, that was not the right time. Like, and then he's looking at me funny and I'm thinking, yeah, I didn't read that well. And one of my things is listening, and I don't always hear and listen the way I need to. So
yeah, and one thing I always talk about that was huge for me was learning discernment, right? Learning what to say and what not to say, and trusting myself on that.
So this is